Yo, what's up, dogs? I am back once again with a movie review, and today we are going to do the good, the bad, and the silly for a little film called 28 Years Later. Now, my voice is still crackly and sore and disgusting, and while I was sick, I was laying in bed, and I thought, hey, you know what? I'm going to stream this movie and give it a watch. And while I was watching it, I was actually quite surprised at how much I enjoyed this movie. And I also would like to just point out that I haven't watched 28 Days Later in probably 20 years, so I'm very far removed from that original film. And I don't even remember 28 Weeks Later. It's been another 20 years since I watched that movie, too. But I'll be honest with you, after watching 28 Years Later, I did go back and watch 28 Days Later, like 2 days afterwards. So it made me want to go and see, like, the old school indie movie and just see how different it is, and do I even care? You know what I'm saying? Because like I really enjoyed this, I guess, sequel to it all. I guess that's what we'll call it. So going ahead, there will be spoilers ahead in case you haven't watched this. And I was able to stream it on Crave TV, which is a Canadian streaming service. It's kind of like our HBO service up here. So I don't know if you could stream it for free on any of the other services yet, but that's how I was able to watch this. So let's get started with the good, okay? So I really enjoyed the story of this movie, okay? We follow this little kid named Spike, who is the son to Jamie, which we'll get to, and Ilsa, which we'll also get to as characters in this movie. And at the beginning of the first like 30 minutes or so of this movie, we are introduced to this new world I guess it's England, right? The entirety of England or the UK has been quarantined from the rest of the world. No one's allowed to step foot on this place, and no one's allowed to leave this place. So these guys are living very much just a homesteading life, you know what I'm saying? And so this little kid named Spike goes out on on his first expedition with his father, who he really does love, and he goes out to learn how to hunt the infected or the rage virus zombies. Okay, so and this is like his first introduction to doing all this stuff and actually being the first time outside of the compound that these villagers have been able to make. And the compound's actually really cool. I should have wrote that down in the good, but I wrote a lot down on the good. But the compound where they live is also really cool, and how it works with the tides and stuff like that to keep them protected at night. It's really smart, and I really liked it. And I just liked watching Spike and Jamie go out into the wilderness and like hunt zombies and like do their part for, I guess, quelling the zombie numbers, so to speak, and still live a normal life within the confines of the compound. And we also learn more about what's going on in the world too, with Spike and like when he finds out about Dr. Kelson, he finds out about his mom and his mom and stuff. Like there's a lot going on in the story that I really liked, but it's really a boy's journey to save his mom. You know what I'm saying? And I just appreciated it, and I liked it from beginning to end because this is more of a survival movie than necessarily a pure zombie film. And at times too, when I was watching this movie, it really reminded me of The Road. I don't know if you've ever seen it, but it's another post-apocalyptic world where a young boy and his father is trying to survive the new world that is the road. You know what I'm saying? And the craziness that goes on the outside um, of the journeys and trials and tribulations of being outside. So next we're going to get to Aaron Taylor Johnson as Jamie, who is the father, and I liked this character up until the point, but I guess that's part of the point of the character, right? Is like Aaron brought something to Jamie where at the beginning of the movie you really believe in him, you think he's a good father, he cares for his son, he cares for his community, he cares about his wife Ilsa. We'll get more into her. He cares about showing his son the rule, like showing them the ropes, so to speak, of when he's outside the safety of the compound and how to navigate the new hazards or the new nature, which is the rage zombies. and they point out like this is this type of zombie and this is this type of zombie and like what to see and stuff like that. So you get a really cool father son moment, and there's a really good tension built scene when they are fighting the rage zombies, and you see like Spike's first time like cocking the arrow and really having to let one go against a zombie that's running at him full pace, and it's really good tension building there. And just how Aaron or Jamie deals with that as a father, like, rewards him with like gratitude and praise and isn't like really a dick to him. But there's also the other side to him, to Jamie, where once they get back to home, safe and sound, they have a celebration because it's like the becoming of a man ritual, right? Is to go out on your first hunt, kill some zombies, come back alive, and you're going to celebrate your triumphs, right? And they're celebrating Spike. And in this celebrations, we see Jamie get a little too drunk, and I think he, I think the girl's name is Maggie. I think that's her name. And he like bangs this chick on the side, and Jamie catches him, and now Jamie hates his dad for being like, being a betrayer, and so to speak, and he doesn't understand it and stuff. And he really wants to protect his mom from this danger, and he wants to heal her and stuff like that. So there's this interesting conflict between Jamie and his son Spike when he finds out the truth that his dad's been cheating on him. But there's more to it, right? Like Spike doesn't know the whole story yet, and I think it's just interesting how Jamie, you like him and then you hate him because you truly do hate him. And then by the end of the movie too, you kind of feel bad for the guy too, a little bit. You kind of feel a little bad for him because of what happens at the ending, which we'll discuss in a few. Then we have Jodie Comer as Ilsa, and Ilsa comes across as like she's the mom, right? And she has something wrong with her. And honestly, when you're watching the movie, I really thought that she might have been infected, like a mild infection or some kind of new strain of rage that's in the air now or something like that. Because like she comes off as very deranged, very I would say some form of maybe dementia. She's not all there. She's really erratic, and she really has a lots of body fits and stuff like that. And Spike is very concerned about his mom and her well-being, and so is Jamie too. Like they come across as like they really care about her, but like when Jamie finds out certain information that there's a potential doctor on the mainland, and his father hasn't taken Ilsa there. It also rubs Jamie the wrong. I mean, sorry, Spike the wrong way, because Spike, in the end, in the grand scheme of it all, only wants to help his mom, wants to really save her, make sure she's better, so she could be around. You know what I'm saying? And this is like the part that like actually sparks like the second half of the story, which is where Spike steals his mom, kidnaps her, so to speak, at night and takes her away. Or was it in the day? Yeah, sorry, it was in the day. He started a fire, that's right. They got all the villagers to be distracted by the fire because that's important. You got to take care of that. And he sneaks his mom out, and they go to the mainland together alone. And it's a whole new story of Jamie, Spike and Ilsa in the wilds, and it's crazy. It's fun. Like, it's cool. I really enjoyed it because now it's like, can he survive? Because like we all know that the mainland is a bad place. They really built the story around it of showing us like the mainland's not a good place for anybody. Anyone even who's trained, that knows how to fight, knows how to kill. It's not a good place for anyone. And our next thing is actually, yeah, the actor who plays Spike, Alfie Williams. As I've already described pretty much everything in here about him already by talking about the other characters, I just thought Alfie Williams as the actor who plays Spike does a really good job playing this character, and you genuinely feel for him. And honestly, by the end of the movie, you're really invested in this kid, and you want to see more. And I'll talk about that once I get there. Um, then we have this character, Eric, who's played by Edvin Riding, and I hope I pronounced his first name correctly. And he is a Swedish soldier that happens to land on the mainland, and his interaction between him and Spike is really cool. Wait a minute, you know what I forgot to talk about? I forgot about talk about this scene right here with Ilsa. There's a scene in the church, the rundown church, where Spike is almost killed in his sleep by a I can't remember, a bloater. Um, but then we see someone like and we see Ilsa essentially kill the zombie with a trash bag and just bashing its head in. And it's really a nice scene just to show that like Mama Bear still has those instincts in her to defend her baby boy. You know what I'm saying? Even though she's losing it all up here, and she is getting more and more deranged as they go on this adventure together, but she still remembers how to kill a zombie and protect her son. And I really like that scene. And we get back here to Eric, who he is hanging out with Spike and and Ilsa too. Like they're together, and they're trying to get to Dr. Kelson. And Eric is he's an interesting character because he lives in the real world, right? The unquarantined world, I guess we could say. And he's a part of the Swedish, I guess, ships or Navy, I guess we could call that. Yeah, Navy. And what happens is their ship hits like the Scottish rocks, and they get on a dinghy and they get blown to the mainland, and now they can't leave the mainland because no one who touches foot on the mainland, no matter what, if you're healthy or not, you cannot leave. So now Eric is incredibly pissed because he's got to stay on this island forever. And I like the interaction between him and Spike because Spike doesn't know what's going on in the world around him. Like the rest of the earth is living their normal day to day life. Like they have the cell phones, they have the Instagram and the TikToks and the YouTube and all the other like stuff, you know what I'm saying? Just like the modern commodities of like self driving cars and all that stuff that we have, right? Books, right? New movies, new television, all that stuff. And Spike has no clue what Eric is talking about because realistically, Spike's at like, I mean, this is not being to disparage the Amish community or anything like that, but that's what their community is kind of like right now. You know, they're barely function. Not, I wouldn't say barely function because the Amish people are functioning people in this society, but that's the level where these guys are at. But they just don't have any knowledge of the outside world. And I hope that's not insulting to the Amish people. That's not what I'm trying to point out here. Um, but I just really liked those two guys together. I just thought it was fun and weird interaction because Spike's always asking him, was like, "What is that?" And Eric's just like, "Oh my god, you don't know what this is," and I liked it for the most part until Eric gets got, but whatever. Then we have Dr. Kelson, who's played by Ralph Fiennes, and I kind of had him when I was originally writing my notes. He kind of reminds me of the he's like the Obi-Wan to this world. You know what I'm saying? He's the old kooky old man out in the desert in the caves alone doing his own thing, and there's like a little legend about him too that the mainland community that Jamie and Spike are from have a little legend about the guy. And so a lot of people just leave him alone and leave him to be because they think he's actually insane. But Jamie tells Spike that he is a doctor. That's what he's known as. And that was like the inspiration to get Spike to take his mom to Dr. Kelson. And when he finally gets there, he gets to the Bone Temple with Spike, Elsa, and yeah, unfortunately Eric doesn't make it, but they get there and they have a good heart to heart moment between that whole scene is really good. To be perfectly honest with you, the it's actually really nice, like because they show like the death of Eric. It's just a nice scene. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah, but yeah, did I even talk about the zombies one? Yeah, I do. Okay, cool. But it's a really beautiful scene, and I don't want to ruin it because it's a very heartwarming scene between Dr. Kelson, Ilsa, and Spike, and everything that goes on between them, and the conversation between Ilsa and Spike's really nice too, and it's like a very like a coming becoming a man kind of moment for Spike is that interaction between the three of them or the two of them really, and what Dr. Kelson does and the approval and the crying and all that. Man, it's a really good scene. I almost cried a little bit there. It almost got me because you really feel for Spike and what happens to Elsa, you do. And it's not a bad thing that happens to Elsa, by the way. It's a natural thing that's happening, but it's happening at such a rapid rate that, it's just, it hits the heartstrings very much so because Spike's quest comes to an end and he doesn't get the end result that he really wanted. You know what I'm saying? And now he has this whole other problem. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. The whole other problem, which I don't remember if I put it in the bad or the silly or not, but there's a whole other problem that Spike has to figure out with Dr. Kelson. And then the next thing I would like to point out here is just like I really liked the new world, so to speak, the like the new world of England, so to speak, where it's like it's very homestead, it's very rural, like it's very, you have to know how to use like an axe, build fires, fight zombies. It's such like a lumberjack world. Like I don't know, man. It's just such an interesting world. But I like the concept that the rest of the world has really quarantined off this place and no one's allowed to leave it or go to it, and I just like that whole concept because, and I'll bring this up now because if you remember listening to 28 Days Later, that one soldier says that he's like, no one knows what's going on here. Everyone else is just acting like it's another day. And you have that scene where the airplane flies over top of them, right? Which they didn't do that in this movie. I was surprised that they didn't show like an airplane flying over or something like that, or like maybe even like like a fireworks display from France or something like that that they could see. Well, whatever. I just really like the world and I like the concept that no one's ever going to come there. And hey, I really like those rules. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes I like to mention the rules of the movie, and I like that rule. So let's get on to the last couple of things here because the zombies are interesting. I like them all, but the alpha zombie, aka Samson, he's such a presence and he's scary and he's like, I kept laughing because like he has like a 20-foot dong on him, you know what I'm saying? And I kept laughing at it every time I saw it. And I was like, I know I'm not supposed to be being humored by this giant dong right now, but it kind of reminded me of the Watchmen with the Doctor Manhattan. Okay, I'm back from coughing my brains out there. Like I was saying, it really reminded me of Doctor Manhattan in the Watchmen movie when you're seeing that, not the freaking 20-foot dong every time. You know what I'm saying? And so it kind of took me out a little bit. It made me laugh. I can't remember if I put it in the silly or not, but maybe I did. But it made me laugh. And I like the ideas that there's certain zombies that are just like steroided and they're smarter. They have a little bit more intelligence, and they're like a pack leader to the original Gen 1 zombies, you know what I'm saying? And to other zombies too, most likely. I really liked all the zombie stuff that was going on in this movie. It took it to another level, which I liked. And I want to know more about the alphas and stuff like that, specifically Samson, when it comes down to it in the sequel. We'll get to that. But the one that I thought was weird, and I think I put it in the silly, was the pregnant zombie. And we will get to that one because I know I put that in the silly. So, but we'll get to that, okay? The next thing I really liked a lot of the zombie tension in this movie. Like they do a really good job at building the tension with the rage zombies, chasing down the kid. You know what I'm saying? Spike and his dad Jamie go through two really specific, really tense scenes. One at the very beginning, well, not the very very beginning, but the first trial and tribulation with Spike and Jamie, and then the second one where they run across the water from the Alpha to get home, and like that scene was so intense. I loved it. I was so intense. It was so intense, and they were banging on the gate door, and they didn't know if they were infected or not. And there's like, let us in. And the Alpha's coming down, and the sound quality in it too is really good. There's really good sound design in this movie. I'd like to point out, and also. Getting on to the next part, the vistas. There's some really good wide vista shots that just show off the landscape of England or wherever it's actually being filmed, but beautiful vistas. Yeah, I was just like, these are really nice shots. You know what I'm saying? Um, and then let's go to the end because I actually liked the ending, and I do remember a lot of discourse going over the ending as too much of a Power Ranger ending. And I honestly don't understand what anyone was talking about when they saw that because the ending was so much fun and it brought a certain levity and a little moment for everyone to just kind of breathe because Spike was getting chased down by zombies again and almost died. Well, not almost died, but he came to the dead end in the wall that he is saved by Jack O'Connell, who plays Sir Jimmy Crystal, and then the rest of the Jimmys show up too, and they beat the crap out of them. And it's very indie, very old school, like it's just very '90s way of ending of a movie. You know what I'm saying? This holy crap kind of ending where it's like, what the hell just happened? And that was the whole point of that ending was really, what the hell just happened? And now you're also sitting there going, oh, what's going to happen with Spike? You know what I'm saying? And you're also sitting there thinking about, well, what's going to happen with the doctor? What's going to happen with the baby Ilsa, which we'll get to that. It's not silly or bad or anything, but I'll just leave it to the end. But there's certain questions that are left unanswered that really make you sit there and go, well, I wouldn't mind watching the sequel because of these things. But I appreciated the ending of the kung fu dudes just ripping the zombies apart. I loved it. I thought it was fun and funny, and I just liked it. I just thought it was cool. I don't know. I just thought it was cool. Whatever. I could see some people seeing it as bad because it's such a tonal shift, and you could really walk away from it being like that was dumb. But at the same time, for some reason, it just worked for me, and I just enjoyed it. I don't know why. Maybe it was the cough medicine, but I enjoyed it. Okay, so let's get to the bad, and I don't have a lot of bad because I really did enjoy this movie. But here's the one thing. Okay, the one thing I was sitting there going, why doesn't Dr. Kelson just kill the Alpha Samson? Because he has, like, Dr. Kelson has the abilities to stun Dr. Alpha, sorry, the Alpha Samson, and he knows about Samson. He's named him Samson for like the last 3 years. He knows about him. He knows how to stop him. Well, not necessarily. Well, he does know how to stop him. He knows how to stun him. And it's just like, why didn't you just chop his head off? Like, why didn't you do that? You know what I'm saying? Instead, you just let him live and roam the countryside. I don't know. I just thought that was weird. I guess I could have put it in the bad, or the silly, but yeah, whatever. I had to put something in the bad. And I didn't think there was really too much bad going on in this movie, to be perfectly honest with you. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the whole runtime. I know, crazy, right? So I wrote this down and I was sitting there thinking about it. I don't really care. Oops. I don't really care about, like, when I watch this movie without watching 28 Days Later, I have no cares about Jim, Selena, or Hannah. I don't care. When I'm watching this movie, I don't even think about them. I didn't even care. But I can understand if you went into this movie watching, let's say, 28 Days Later and 28 Weeks Later to prep yourself for 28 years later. I could see you sitting there going, well, why don't we know anything about these three characters? And I could get that, but for me, who has, like, I didn't watch the movies until the, like, out of order and whatever, I didn't care. I was really involved with Spike and Jamie and Ilsa and Dr. Kelson and Alpha Samson and Eric and the weird zombie stuff that's going on. I was so invested with everything else that I kind of forgot about Jim, Selena, and Hannah until I watched 28 Days Later. So I could see why people would complain about, like, where are these characters, but at the same time, I don't really care. I really feel like this movie kind of stands on its own, and you don't need these guys. So let's go to the silly. Okay, first thing in the silly: pregnant zombies that give birth to a normal baby girl, which they name Ilsa. Well, Spike names her Ilsa. And when it happens in the movie, I'm like, oh, that's interesting. There's a pregnant zombie. I guess the baby inside's dead. Like, that's just what I thought naturally, right? And then I also thought, well, when there's the scene where she's giving birth, I'm like, oh my God, are we going to get a zombie baby? Like, that'd be crazy. No, like, why not? Let's go crazy with it, guys. Let's go crazy with it, right? But no, no, a normal baby comes out, like, normal. And I was just sitting there, I'm like, what in the world does that mean for this movie? That a zombie baby or a pregnant zombie gave birth to a regular baby. Like, how does that even work, man? How? So yeah, I don't know what's going to happen with that kid. And that's what makes me want to watch the next movie or even the third movie. Like, is this baby something important? You know what I'm saying? Like, is she going to have the cure to the zombie virus because she was born of a zombie? Like, something crazy like that. And I put it into silly because it was silly, and I could see it taking you out of the movie where you're just like, okay, come on, guys, what's going on here? And I didn't take me out of the movie because I was really just like, huh? What is this all about? Like, why are we doing this? So I have more questions than answers with that one, and I want to know the answer. If they do, like, say we get to the second movie and they don't answer anything about Ilsa, and then we get to the third movie and they still don't answer anything about Ilsa, I'm gonna come back to this review and go, what was the freaking point of even doing that sequence? and having a pregnant zombie and having a baby born from a pregnant zombie. Like, what's the point if you don't really do something with it? You know what I'm saying? And maybe that's how the movie's going to play out in the end. She's going to have the virus, like maybe some kind of cure in her DNA or her blood or whatever, and that could be that. Now, the other silly thing, because I don't understand it, is what's with all those weird masks? Now, I'm trying to think, like, why? Like, are they Gen 1 masks, like, of the Rage virus zombies that are emancipated? And that's why they're wearing these weird masks? I don't understand the masks because they flash every now and then, too, in the actual movie in certain sequences. And I'm just like, what's the point of these? What are you trying to tell me here? I don't get it. I don't think it's cool. I don't think it's artistic. I think it's silly and it's kind of out of place. So I didn't care for it. I'm just like, this is dumb. I don't need that. Sorry, I coughed again right there. Now, let's get on to Dr. Kelson here quickly because I like the character, but there's things about him where I'm just like, how does he know how to do all this stuff? Like he learns about iodine, and the zombies don't really like it, which I'm like, okay, cool. How'd you do that? How do you make iodine? And how do you have so much iodine that you've had like 20 years worth of it? I just thought that was interesting. He's always bathed in iodine, so I don't know if iodine is an easily, uh, like an easy resource to keep remaking. I don't know anything about iodine, but I was kind of sitting there going, wouldn't you run out eventually? Especially since you just hang out in the woods the whole time. So I'm curious about that. And then he has these special stun darts that he's made, um, and he doesn't really explain them. He just is like, yeah, I have these poison darts that stun them for only like a limited time, and it's like only a couple hours, he says. And then that's kind of was just like, well, that's like one of the most overpowered weapons in the world right now. On this, like, people have bow and arrows, and this guy has a stun dart that can like stun zombies in their place, and you could easily dispatch them. And I'm just like, how does he have this? And everybody else doesn't have this yet. So those are just two little silly things that I was just like, well, why doesn't everybody have these things? But at the same time, I did think they were cool when he used them, like on the alpha. I was like, that's cool because it was a really intense scene too. And I'm like, how's this gonna happen, man? The alpha's gonna smoke these guys. Then he gets hit with the darts, and I'm just like, that's crazy. Like I liked it, but at the same time, I'm like, what? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Anyways, in conclusion, my friends, should you watch this movie? Yes, yes. I actually think you should watch this movie, especially if you want a zombie movie that's about like survival. You know what I'm saying? Like you're a survivor man in this zombie world, and if you like that type of idea, it's not all out zombies ripping people apart and stuff like that. Like some zombie movies. This is more of like people surviving in the world of zombies and how they go about their day-to-day life. And I liked it. I really like it, and I think you might like it as well, especially if you like that survivor type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? So I do recommend you watch it, catch it on the streaming if you can, wherever it's streaming. I do think you should give it a little bit of your time, and I hope you enjoy it if you do. Now, uh, will this go into my movie collection? Honestly, probably not, because I didn't watch 28 Days Later in 20 years, and I still haven't even sat down and watched 28 Weeks Later, in another 20 years. You know what I'm saying? So this movie franchise is kind of like, will I ever have the urge to sit down and watch it again? As of right now, probably not. So I don't think I would actually put it in my movie collection. And it's not a knock against the movie. It's more along the lines of like, will I want to watch this again in within 5 years? 3 to 5 years is a good rewatchable for me, and I don't see myself thinking about this movie ever again until I watch the sequel. Which I will go and see the sequel, by the way. Which I'm a little leery about the sequel because it comes out in January. It is directed by Nia DaCosta. DeCostas? I don't know. I don't even care. She's not. I don't know. She's gonna have to impress me with this one. But a movie that's getting dumped in January is never a good sign. You know what I'm saying? So we shall see. But I will probably go and see it because I really did enjoy this movie. So I'm hoping that I hope the good times keep rolling on. You know what I'm saying? So that is it, my friends. That is my very late review for 28 years later. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment down below. Tell me if you thought the movie was any good. Hit the like, hit the subscribe, hit the notification bell. I am out of here. We got 3 days until the weekend. I can't wait. I need some water ASAP. My throat's getting really dry. So be safe out there, my friends. Dress good for the weather. And don't work too hard because you know I ain't. So you shouldn't be working that hard either, okay? Peace out, everybody. Enjoy the movies. Bye.